My boyfriend faked his dad's terminal illness to hide his cheating. This is going to be a long one. I, 24F, met my now ex-boyfriend, Aaron, 35M, 2 years ago. Aaron is from Hong Kong, and I am British. We live in different cities in the UK. We had our differences, but he was the perfect boyfriend. He was kind and respectful and always did his best to make me happy. After 6 months of dating, I had even introduced him to my family. They loved him just as much as I did. It felt like the perfect relationship. We always looked at apartments to rent together and talked about our future. After celebrating our first anniversary together, I noticed that he had begun to change, just small changes, like never calling me, taking a long time to reply to texts, going out with his friends almost every night, and not returning home until 3 a.m. He had moved to this city alone from Hong Kong, and I figured he had made some new friends and was enjoying himself. I tried to be happy for him, so I didn't question his frequent late nights out. I then noticed that my BF would travel daily to a particular building in the city center. We were sharing each other's location, which I found strange because my BF worked entirely from home. His company did not have an office in our city. When I asked him about this, he told me he had gone to use some office space. I figured that he had done this to get out of the house. I could understand that, and this building was in a very commercial area with lots of businesses, so it didn't sound entirely out of the question. So I didn't push it any further. A few weeks later, we planned to meet on a Friday night. He texted me a few hours before, asking me to meet at this office location. When I arrived, I found out that this was an apartment building, and the office he had been visiting daily was the apartment of one of his female friends, Ria, we'll call her. I immediately confronted him for lying to me, and I felt highly uncomfortable at the idea of him visiting another girl's apartment every day. He assured me he went there only to work and was never alone with her because other friends also worked there. I decided to give him the benefit of the doubt, but as soon as I met Ria, this all faded into anger. She welcomed us into her apartment, where she and Aaron's friends played board games. Whilst I was sitting right next to my BF, she proceeded to put her legs on him, cuddle up to him, drag him away at any given moment, and spend the entire night making rude remarks at me in Cantonese. She was also from Hong Kong. I had never felt more uncomfortable. Even Aaron's friends could see that and felt sorry for me. After we left, I told my BF how uncomfortable Ria made me feel, and he completely dismissed it, insisting that they were just friends, and that he would promise not to see her as often anymore if it made me feel better. However, he was texting her all evening when we returned to his place, and he immediately picked up when she called him. They were on the phone together for hours, laughing and talking, whilst I sat there feeling upset. He didn't even notice. A few weeks later, I invited him to my parents' house in my city for Christmas Eve. We agreed that he would arrive at 1 p.m. and have dinner with me, my parents, and my extended family. He went to the club the night before for a friend's birthday and messaged me at 3 a.m., saying he got home safely. I checked on the location app and saw that he was at Ria's apartment and not at home. I screenshotted this and called him out on it, and he responded that I was a stalker, told me the app was broken, and then turned off his locations. Like a fool, I still begged him to come to my family's place on Christmas Eve, and I felt that some time alone together would help things. However, he texted me midday on Christmas Eve, saying he was hungover and not coming. I was distraught, and after I stupidly begged for him to come, he turned up at 10 p.m., having completely missed the entire celebration and my extended family's visit. I also discovered that he had blocked me and my family from his Instagram story, where he had posted many pictures of him at the club, always with his arms around Ria. If you're going to block everyone I know from your Instagram story, don't forget to stop my cousin next time, asshole. Christmas went without incident, and we planned to go to his friend's party on the 30th before spending the new year together. He suddenly uninvited me from the party, saying there were too many people going, and that he'd meet me at 1 p.m. on New Year's Eve instead. I was upset but understood that he was not hosting the party, and I couldn't demand an invitation. So he went on his own. New Year's Eve came, and I was waiting at 1 p.m. We were going to meet at his local Starbucks, and then we had a dinner reservation at 7 p.m. 3 hours passed, and he hadn't shown up. He wouldn't answer texts or calls, and I had no idea where he was. It got to 7 p.m., and I went to the restaurant alone. At this point, I was starving and upset and just needed food. Whilst eating, I finally got a text from him saying that he had already had dinner with Ria and some other friends and that he would rather spend New Year's without me. But if I insisted, he could come and meet me at 8 p.m. I had traveled to his city for him to tell me he didn't want to see me, so I demanded to see him at 8 p.m. because I was not wasting my time. He meets me at 8 p.m., and we go to his apartment, where I find half his possessions packed in boxes and half a suitcase packed. I looked at him, confused as to what was going on. This is when he sits me down and tells me that he is moving back to Hong Kong for 2 years because his father has terminal cancer and, as an only child, he needs to return to take care of himself and his mother. He explained that this is what has caused his stress and unusual behavior over the past few weeks. My heart broke for him, and I felt so guilty giving him a hard time, not knowing the pain he was going through himself. I tried to comfort him and be a good, understanding girlfriend. He then told me he wanted to break up when he returned because he didn't want to go long distances as it was not fair to me, and that if I waited for him for 2 years, we would find each other again. I was heartbroken, but I understood. I didn't want to be selfish, and I couldn't imagine the suffering that he was going through. I had been with my boyfriend for a year and had never seen him cry until now. I was so upset for him. I leave his apartment and say my final goodbyes, but things continue as they have never changed. He would still message me every day, send me cute romantic quotes, and tell me that we'd be back together and happy after 2 years of him going home to help his family. I truly believed him. Even though we were technically broken up, I felt we could get through this challenging time together. That was until 2 days later when my cousin sent me a screenshot of Aaron's Instagram story that he had hidden from me, showing a picture of flowers he had bought for Rhea, followed by a picture of them on a dinner date with the caption, "Finally." I was furious when confronting him about it. He denied everything. He denied hiding his story from me, saying that the app was glitching. He denied being on a date with her, and he denied buying her the flowers. I didn't believe a single word he said, and I was tired of him denying his cheating. I wanted to get answers once and for all. So I messaged Rhea directly, asking her what was happening, and she told me everything. She told me that she and my BF had been attracted to each other for some months, that they had kissed but never slept together, and that they were now going on dates together and taking it slow after breaking up with me. I was furious, and her attitude made me feel even worse. She told me the breakup was not her fault and that my boyfriend willingly went to her because she was a better girlfriend than me. Not to mention, RI still has a BF of her own. I screenshot everything and sent it to Aaron, asking him to explain, and he finally admitted to everything. I was devastated, but I should have seen the signs ages ago. Furthermore, I asked him, "Are you even going back to Hong Kong? Is your dad even sick?" He replied, "No, I just thought it would make the breakup easier on you." He knew that I lost my grandmother to cancer, and that was a low blow, even for him. Not only had he cheated on me with a girl he insisted was just his friend, he lied about it to my face, he lied about moving back to Hong Kong, and he lied about his father having cancer. He returned to his apartment on New Year's Eve, pretended to pack up his possessions and turned on the waterworks to make the whole thing more convincing. His response to being confronted with all this? "Maybe I just wanted a better life. Did you ever consider that?" What an absolute psycho. In conclusion, both of them are now blocked on everything. I haven't heard from him in 2 months, and she is welcome to my leftovers. Share your thoughts in the comments and follow for more interesting stories.